Just the season of one for the thumb, right? Pittsburgh Steelers get their 5th Super Bowl. He gets his 5th championship as a head coach. That's tied for 3rd all-time, trailing only Red Auerbach and Phil Jackson. He also goes 18 years between titles, last winning one with the '88 Lakers, the longest stretch between titles of all time, and his 3rd head coach to ever lead 2 different teams to a title, joining Phil Jackson and Alex Hannum. And Stephen A. Smith is with Pat Riley.
Oh my. Pat Riley, you started off the press conference, or actually you mentioned in your press conference that you would trade all 4 of your championship rings for the one that you just captured. Why?
Well, actually 6. One is a player and one is an assistant coach. You know, I just, it's a time in my life where over the last 18 years, you know, since we won one, you know, with a great team, that, you know, that I've been chasing this with a team, trying to put together teams, trying to get the job done, and you get to a point where sometimes you get a little bit desperate, you know, but with this group of guys, and with Shaquille, and especially with Dwayne, but, you know, Zoe, and GP, and Shannon, and Derek Anderson, you know, Jay Will, Antoine Walker, you know, all these guys have been sort of cut up and sliced and wounded. You know, people don't understand. They really don't. They don't understand how much these guys want to win, how much they want to win and be part of this. And now they will never, ever not be called anything else other than a champion. But the media will probably still call us names. But one thing they can't do is they can't ever take that away from them. And you just have no idea how much they wanted it.
Antoine Walker was crying at the podium, you know, capturing his first world championship. Did you see before you acquired him, or at the time that you acquired him, that he wanted this badly?
Well, it's not a bad formula to work with, Stephen. You know, all these guys were great players. My primary motivation was Shaquille was 34 years old. I think the window is, you know, 2, 3, 4 years with him, and you don't want to put a bunch of developing players around him. You know, you need to put established, strong, settled guys, and you know, they all worked. To me, they had all produced. They're all talented. They all knew, I think, what to do, and you know, whether or not the whole thing would mix, it was combustible at times, you know, but we found a way to always work it out, and I couldn't be happier for Twan. I mean it. For James Posey, for all these guys, I couldn't be happier for.
You've been around for so long, and when you came back to coach this team in December, everybody was looking at you, including myself, and saying the pressure is on Pat Riley. He's assembled this team, got to win with this team. Did you feel that immense pressure?
I never felt that. I didn't feel it. I stopped worrying about the consequences a long time ago. So, I mean, when I was a young man and ambitious, and all of us are, as we're trying to sort of, you know, make our way in this world and our career, is that we're always worried about if the result isn't right, then there's going to be severe consequences. When I stopped worrying about that is the day I stopped worrying about what people thought about, you know, what I did. So if people thought the pressure was on me, I looked at it as a challenge, an individual challenge to bring these guys together, and it was pretty easy with Zoe and with Shaquille and Dwayne and a good group of guys to make sure that everybody could police one another.
Alonzo Mourning came on my show, quite frankly, last week, and he talked about how you had reached a point where he felt like even you were humbled, like just what you were just alluding to. When did you reach that point where you just stopped worrying about consequences and you learned to relax, to use his words?
I think when I finally got out of coaching, you know, I knew that we had to rebuild the franchise, and so for 2 years we took the hit, and it was my responsibility to do that during that time. But once that team became competitive again, it really was time for Stan to move in for a whole other culture, another voice, the whole thing. And for me to be back here where I am right now, it's an absolute miracle. It really is a miracle, and I absolutely feel blessed that you know, that I could be here. And so I don't worry about that stuff. I'm too old to worry about it anymore, and they're not going to hang me by my thumbs at Bayside, you know, down there if I do something wrong. So you know, it's just great to be a winner.
You've seen a lot of great players in your lifetime. You coached Magic Johnson. You watched Jordan. You went up against Jordan. What was it like to watch Dwayne Wade perform the way that he performed throughout these playoffs, and especially in the NBA Finals?
Well, when he's on your side, he ceases to amaze, you know, you as a coach. I mean, I try to do a lot of things for him. I'm always asking him, you know, where, when, how, comfortable, because I know how many defenses come at him. I think my greatest fear as a coach was I wasn't going to be good enough for him.
And you felt that way because?
There were times that I just couldn't find something for him. You know, when he's got 2 or 3 guys attacking him and he looks frustrated and, you know, he's sort of getting beat up and he can't find. There were many nights that were like that. You know, the fact that we had Shaquille too, but, you know, there were times that I didn't think I was doing enough, which motivated me even more to try to find more things. And keeping it simple for him, he said, Coach, keep it simple. Don't run me all over the place. Try to get me the ball. I'm tired as it is, okay? So we kept it basic, kept it simple, and kept he and Shaquille on one side of the court, worked off of that concept for a good portion of the season, and it really worked out.
Just his 3rd year in the league, you've seen anybody this good this early?
Yeah. I mean, he's good. I mean, I love Dwayne, and I don't want to disrespect his development, but I watched Michael when he was young. I watched Magic and Larry. You go back, you were in Philly, you remember when he got 42 and 15 at 19 years old, you know, in a championship game. So, you know, Dwayne is who he is right now, and his signature's all over this league. And so he deserves to be absolutely praised the way he is because he is one of the good ones. So, but not many. There might be only 1 or 2 that it compared to him after 3 years.
I'd be, you know, Antoine Walker captures his 1st ring, Gary Payton captures his 1st ring, but I'd be remiss in neglecting to point out, you know, just bring up Alonzo Mourning. What does it mean to you to finally have assembled this team as president, as coach, and to watch Alonzo Mourning host that championship trophy?
He's like me. We're fused at the hip, you know, just fused at the hip, and went through it. He was a voice. He was my ally, you know, for years and years, and it was just so frustrating to watch us come up short, you know. I mean, when he got a kidney disease and he came into my office and sat down and said that, Coach, I'm going to step aside, I have to move on, and you know, he and I are fused. We're kindred spirits. We'll always be that way. But to watch him, you know, celebrate and know that he's going to get it, he doesn't have to worry about this anymore. You know, there are times that he would pick me up. He'd pick me up as a player. He'd pick me up, you know, off that coach's seat, you know, and just tell me to do my job. And I love him for it. I mean, he's just he's very special.
That bowl that you had in there. Yeah. I mean, you won the title now, Coach. What were these here? Okay.
You know, it's a championship trophy. It's 15 strong. You know, a slogan, a motto, whatever it is. But we put over 150,000 of them in there. We kept dumping them in there at 10,000 at a time, and all different colors. And we had players' pictures on there with 15 strong on there. We had players and their wives, players and their children. You know, the Heat and its logo. So there has to be something that connects the team. This league can be pretty cynical, and sometimes players have a hard time buying into stuff like this, but it just kept building and building, and in order for us to really break through, it was going to have to be something that had some mystique to it. And so they actually said, Coach, cover it up. Don't let anybody see it. I mean, it became their own little sort of ritualistic pit, okay? They kept throwing things in there, and then they throw newspaper articles in there, and then they take a diagram play, put it in there, and then they took a stat sheet. When Dwayne got 43 points, they put it in there. You know, 15 strong. That's what it's about.
Is it really true that you packed one suit, one shirt, one tie? I was shocked that you were bold enough to tell everybody before the game, Coach.
Well, I remember when we went back to Boston Garden, 1985, and we had won the 5th game. And we're all in the locker room knowing we have to go back to Boston Garden to shake this whole thing. And Kurt Rambis swore to everybody, said, look it, nobody packed more than 1 day's of stuff, you know. And so everybody used to look at Kurt and say, well, you only pack 1 day anyhow for 2 weeks, you know. So you got to believe you're going to do it. You got to believe you're only going to be there for a day. And I think that's what everybody did.
I didn't hear you guarantee a repeat.
No. Not too old for that, no.
The Diesel did. Shaq did.
The Diesel did?
Yes, he did.
Oh,
right in his case.
I like that. We got another one. We got another one coming up here. But we keep getting him help and keep, finding players that will complement Dwayne, and now the older guys that we have that have this monkey off their back, they can relax a little bit. I think this franchise has a lot of possibilities.
Coach Pat Riley, congratulations, man. Congratulations. NBA world champion, Pat Riley. Back upstairs, guys.
Stephen A., thanks a lot.